In the peaceful embrace of centuries-old wisdom, let us delve into a contemplation that is both subtle and profound. The web of human relationships, woven from threads of affection, trust, and understanding, makes up the essence of our existence. However, in the big picture of life, not all the threads fit into the pattern we wish to create. Stoicism, that beacon of clarity in the whirlwind of human emotions, teaches us about the virtue of discernment, especially in the realm of our relationships. Today, we enter an area that requires both courage and compassion to explore. The signs that indicate when it's time to end a relationship, whether it's with family or friends. This journey is not about hastily or angrily severing connections, but about recognizing when those connections hinder our growth or our health. If a person doesn't make you better, if they distract you from your growth, it's a sign, a stoic reminder, that perhaps the path you've been on together has come to an end. Marcus Aurelius may have pondered in his meditations. As we prepare to reveal these 11 signs, remember that this exploration is not an indictment of love or loyalty. Rather, it is a call to self-reflection, to ensure that the relationships in our lives enrich our journey towards virtue, wisdom, and happiness. It's about understanding that letting go is sometimes the greatest act of love we can offer, both to ourselves and to others. I invite you, a valued listener, to approach this discussion with an open heart and a curious mind. Reflect on your experiences and your relationships. Have you ever felt the weight of an association that no longer serves your highest good? Have you found the strength to release that weight and enter a space of self-respect and love? Join me in exploring these 11 signs, not an ending, but a beginning. A beginning of a deeper understanding of our needs, our values, and the courage needed to live in accordance with them. This journey is about honoring ourselves, about creating space for relationships that elevate us and that challenge us to be the best versions of ourselves. Let us begin this path together with the wisdom of the Stoics guiding us, knowing that in every ending there is the seed of a new beginning. Number 1. Identify relationships that inhibit the development. Have you ever felt like you were stuck, unable to move forward because someone close to you didn't support you? Realizing that relationships are stunting your growth, or worse, that they are intentionally holding you back, is truly a difficult situation, isn't it? Seneca spoke about the power of personal growth and self-improvement, believing that to live a worthwhile life, we must constantly grow, learn, and surpass our limits. If you're in a relationship, whether with a friend, family member, or partner, and you feel like you can't grow, Seneca will probably tell you that's a red flag that you shouldn't, can be ignored. I'm not saying every relationship has to push you to your limits or set world records, but people who care about you will want to see you grow. They should be your cheerleaders. Your support system should not be an anchor dragging you down into the abyss of what-ifs and what-ifs. It's worth sitting down and facing yourself, asking, why am I still in this relationship? Is it habit, fear, or loyalty? These are difficult but necessary questions because they have to do with the quality of your relationships, the relationships that are truly worthy of your time and your heart, the relationships that elevate you. They should make you feel like you're capable of doing more today than you were yesterday. Stoicism teaches us the importance of being surrounded by people who have a positive influence on our lives, not to make friends or be loved, but to curate a fulfilling circle. Enrich your life, encourage your growth, and align with your values. So, if you find yourself in a relationship that feels more like it's sinking in than it's shooting up, it might be time to reconsider its place in your life. Remember, wanting to grow isn't selfish, it's human nature, And sometimes growing up means letting go of those who hold us back, not with resentment, but with gratitude, for the lessons learned and the strength gained from knowing when to say goodbye. Reflect on your relationships and consider whether they are a bridge to the best version of you or a barrier to your growth. And remember, the journey of self-improvement is never a lonely journey. We need the right companions that truly make the journey worthwhile. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where drama becomes the main course and support doesn't seem to be on the menu? It's tiring, isn't it? Marcus Aurelius, with his insights into managing our emotions, famously said that we have control over our minds, not external events, and that this is the source of our power, ours truly. This becomes a turning point when applied to relationships filled with jealousy, anger, or any other negativity. When emotions seem to take over the picture, think if your relationship feels more like a battlefield than a safe haven. It's a loud and clear signal that a change is needed. These emotions, although part of the human experience, should not be the foundation or defining characteristic of any relationship aimed at lasting peace and satisfaction. I'm not suggesting that we can or should aim to live without ever feeling angry or jealous. That would be like trying to breathe without air. However, what Marcus Aurelius teaches us is that we are in control when it comes to our response to these emotions. If jealousy arises because a friend seems to be making progress in life while you feel stuck, or if anger flares up every time someone hurts you, remember that you are in control of his reaction. You can choose not to let these emotions rule your relationship. But in reality, what does this look like? It starts with awareness, recognizing when you are feeling these emotions and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way? What can I learn from this? How can I respond appropriately to the person I want to become? These are not easy questions, but they are essential questions. And sometimes the healthiest response is to create distance or make a change, not to avoid the problem, but to acknowledge that if the nature of a relationship is more inclined to pull each other into a negative spiral, is to support each other, perhaps it's time to reevaluate. This doesn't mean you're a failure or that the other person is the villain in your story, but simply to realize that not every relationship is meant to last through every stage of life. Number 2. The dangers of manipulation and control. In our quest for happiness and inner peace, we often encounter challenges in our relationships, especially when faced with the dangers of manipulation and control. This is not only a complicated issue, but also carries the risk of deeply hurting our spirit and emotions. As Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Freedom is the greatest gift that man can give himself." However, that freedom seems to be taken away when we fall into the trap of those who manipulate and control us. For example, you may find yourself constantly having to weigh your words and actions to avoid offending others, or feel like you no longer have agency in personal decisions. From everyday choices like clothing to important decisions about career and personal goals. These are signs of losing freedom and control over your life, pushing you into an oppressive and stressful environment. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once emphasized the importance of living according to reason and not letting anyone control or manipulate your life. He writes, "Only when you are not distracted by power, fame, or other people can you truly reap true joy from your life." This advice resonates through time, reminding us of the power of standing firm and not being dependent on the opinions and desires of others. Personal freedom and happiness should be at the heart of every relationship. When a relationship causes you to sacrifice these core values, it may be time to rethink. This is not only a decision for yourself, but also a step towards a life where each individual is respected and appreciated. Constantly enduring pressure and control can lead to serious mental health problems such as depression, anxiety, and chronic stress. It's important to recognize when a relationship is no longer a source of support, but has become a burden, hurting your spirit and emotions. Ultimately, realizing that you yourself deserve to be treated with respect and love is the first step toward building and maintaining healthy relationships. Don't hesitate to seek support from friends, family, or a psychologist if you feel like you're being manipulated or controlled. Remember, ending a toxic relationship is not only a decision for personal freedom, but also an act of self-care and self-love. Number 3. Lack of mutual respect. In the complex dance of relationships, lack of mutual respect manifests as wrong dance steps, causing the harmony between two souls to become out of tune, gradually losing the beauty of the union. When this feeling becomes common, we begin to wonder, are we truly appreciating and appreciated in the relationship? A lack of respect for each other not only obscures the true nature of the relationship, but also gradually erodes the trust and connection you once shared. It turns sincere and sympathetic moments into heavy, calculated encounters. When respect is gone, the relationship loses balance and begins to veer off the path of mutual support and growth. In your journey to rediscovering your values, setting boundaries, and having heart-to-heart conversations about your feelings and expectations becomes indispensable. These are important steps that help us not only reaffirm our position in the relationship, but also open the door for mutual understanding and respect. However, when a relationship continually pushes you away from peace and prevents you from becoming the best version of yourself, it becomes necessary to ask yourself and consider advice from the Stoic philosophers. They advise us to take a step back and look at the situation objectively. Is this relationship enhancing your well-being, encouraging personal growth, or just a source of negative emotions, constantly draining your energy and making you feel exhausted? If you find yourself leaning towards the latter, it becomes essential to question whether this connection is truly enriching your life. Stoicism does not encourage us to keep a cold or unemotional heart, but rather encourages us to discern what is truly beneficial to us in the big picture. And sometimes that requires making the difficult decision to separate yourself from relationships that do more harm than good. This doesn't mean that every difficulty is a sign that the relationship needs to end. However, if someone's presence continually makes you feel worse, it's a clear sign that a change is needed. Healthy relationships, although they may face challenges, are essentially a source of support, love, and mutual growth. Through it all, questioning and viewing the relationship through the lens of mutual respect and self-worth is the first and most important step toward cultivating the right relationship. And at the same time, the lesson that Stoicism teaches us about self-awareness and courage in making difficult decisions for a life full of virtue and peace. Number 4. Continuous unresolved conflict. Conflict is an inevitable part of any relationship, from friendship and family to love. However, when conflict becomes a constant and unresolvable feature, it gradually turns the relationship into a maze of fatigue and frustration. Continuous unresolved conflict highlights an important sign that it may be time to reconsider and perhaps end the relationship. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Peace is not the avoidance of trouble, but the ability to maintain calmness of mind, even when surrounded by storms." Through this advice, Aurelius emphasizes the importance of remaining calm and finding solutions in any situation, instead of allowing conflict to control our minds and decisions. For example, a couple may constantly argue about how to manage family finances. Every time this topic comes up, both feel attacked and are unwilling to listen to the other's point of view, making the problem worse without finding a solution. The endless repetition of this situation not only creates an emotional distance between them, but also makes them both feel tired and stuck. In such cases, taking a step back and applying Marcus Aurelius's advice can help. Instead of continuing the endless fight, try to create an open space for discussion and really listen to each other's points of view with calmness. Sometimes, realizing that not every conflict needs a winner can pave the way for understanding and finding a common solution. If after many attempts the conflict still cannot be resolved and the relationship continues to make you feel negative, it may be time to consider ending it. This is not a failure, but a courageous decision to protect your mental health and happiness, a true Stoic step in finding peace and virtue in life. Number 5. Isolation. Isolation in any relationship not only creates distance between you and the outside world, but also weakens your mental strength and ability to face challenges. When a relationship gradually leads you into loneliness, isolating you from friends, family, and community, it is not only a sign of being unhealthy, but can also be a subtle form of control. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "Part of healing is the desire to be healed." This implies that to escape the feeling of isolation, the first and most important step is to recognize and desire to change the current situation. This desire will be the inspiration to seek help and begin the journey of reconnecting with the world around you. Consider a typical example. You have a relationship, whether friendship or love, where the other person constantly asks you to choose between them and other people important to you. They may not say it directly, but their actions and disapproval of other relationships in your life create pressure, making you feel like you have to give up the people you love and the things you love. Personal preference to maintain this relationship. In such circumstances, applying Seneca's advice can help you realize that healing and reconnection are not only necessary, but also within your power. Start by taking small steps. Re-establish contact with an old friend, join a group activity, or simply take time for yourself without feeling guilty. If this relationship continues to leave you feeling isolated and does not support you in reconnecting with the world around you, it may be time to consider whether it is a relationship you want to maintain. Isolation not only reduces your quality of life, but it also hinders personal and spiritual growth. Deciding to leave a toxic and isolating relationship is not an abandonment, but a step toward freedom. Freedom to build meaningful relationships. Freedom to love and be loved. Trade without being constrained or controlled. This is a choice towards living a fulfilling life, reflecting the philosophy of Stoicism, where respect, freedom, and connection are the foundation of all healthy relationships. Number 6. Mentally toxic. Have you ever felt stuck in a relationship where every day just makes you feel heavy and tired? Have you ever wondered if the emotional toxicity you are experiencing is the reason you need to end this relationship, even if it is with family or friends? Life is too short to stay in relationships that hurt our souls and hinder our personal growth. In the journey to find happiness and spiritual freedom, identifying and dealing with emotional toxicity in relationships is an important step that we cannot ignore. It is a process of self-questioning, self-examination of what is really important to ourselves, and deciding whether we are willing to free ourselves from days full of pressure and negativity. This is not only a journey to inner peace, but also a fight to reclaim power for ourselves. The power to decide how we want to live and with whom we choose to share that life. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "The strength of the soul lies in its ability to preserve it from negative emotions and unhealthy thoughts." This highlights the importance of protecting one's own mental health, especially in the context of a toxic relationship. Emotional toxicity in a relationship can manifest in many forms, from constant criticism and judgment to psychological pressure, or even emotional abuse such as gaslighting, which makes you doubt yourself and feel like you're not understood or valued. In a toxic relationship, feeling stuck, lonely, and unsupported becomes normal. You may feel like you've lost your vitality, your faith in yourself, and your ability to make decisions. Not only does this affect short-term mood, but it can also cause long-term mental health problems such as depression and anxiety. Facing mental toxicity requires courage and a decision to take care of yourself. Recognizing and admitting that you are in an unhealthy relationship is an important first step. From there, you can begin the journey of finding support, setting boundaries, and, when necessary, ending the relationship to protect your mental health. According to Stoicism, taking care of yourself and maintaining mental health is not only part of living a virtuous life, but is also the basis for building and maintaining healthy relationships. Protecting your mental health not only helps you develop personally, but also creates conditions for the relationships around you to develop in a healthy and sustainable way. Number 7. Unhealthy dependency. In the complex web of relationships of modern life, unhealthy dependency appears as a warning sign that one or both parties in the relationship are losing autonomy and independence. This can lead to unhealthy mental and emotional dependence. When one person feels unable to make decisions or face life without support or approval from the other, the relationship begins to transform into a burden instead of a source of support. Aristotle, one of the great philosophers of ancient Greece, once said, "In the relationship of friendship, equality and symmetry are created by people who are friends because they are good and because both are equivalent in virtue." This emphasizes that a healthy relationship is based on balance and similarity in virtues and abilities, not mutual dependence. For example, a person always seeks approval and support from his or her partner in every decision, from big decisions like career or finances to small decisions like daily choices. This dependence not only limits the individual's ability to make their own decisions, but also places a burden on the partner, making them feel pressured to always be responsive and supportive, even making decisions on the other person's behalf. In such cases, recognizing and reducing unhealthy dependence is important so that both individuals can develop independence and support each other in a more meaningful way. This requires a process of self-questioning and training, as advised from the beginning. Continuously self-question and practice to control your emotions and independence, thereby building a balanced relationship, fair and sustainable, based on mutual respect and virtue. Unhealthy dependence not only hinders personal growth, but also destroys the core values of a true relationship, where freedom, respect, and independence are valued. Facing and solving this problem not only helps individuals become stronger, but also contributes to creating a solid foundation for the relationship where each individual can develop and support each other in a healthy way and sustainable. Number 8. Lack of harmony in goals and values. Lack of harmony in goals and values in a relationship not only creates an invisible wall between two individuals, but is also the root cause of rift and separation. When two people do not share the same vision, values, or long-term goals, the relationship risks becoming ambiguous and lacking a deep connection, weakening the ability to maintain and grow the relationship system in a healthy and sustainable way. Plato, an ancient Greek philosopher, once emphasized the importance of harmony in relationships. Good individuals create good individuals when they are educated, and those who create them incompetent and evil. Although he refers to education, this principle also applies to relationship building. Congruence in values and goals is the foundation for a thriving relationship. In a relationship context, a lack of harmony in goals and values can create an environment filled with tension and misunderstandings. Each person tries to pull the other towards their goals and views without realizing that by doing so, they are damaging the nature of the relationship. This lack of consensus not only reduces the ability to resolve conflict in a healthy way, but also hinders personal growth and development. More importantly, when one or both individuals in a relationship feel that they must sacrifice personal goals or values to maintain the relationship, this is not only a sign of a lack of harmony, but also a warning of unsustainability. A healthy relationship must be based on mutual respect and support, where each individual is not only encouraged but supported to pursue their personal goals and live according to their values. To solve this problem, there needs to be open and honest communication about your desires, goals, and values. This process not only helps clarify differences and find common ground, but also facilitates deeper respect and understanding of each other. However, if the lack of harmony remains unresolved after all, it may be necessary to think about whether the relationship truly serves your long-term well-being and happiness. As Stoicism teaches, living a righteous and happy life is not just a pursuit of short-term satisfaction, but a commitment to the values and principles we hold dear. A relationship can only develop and be sustainable when it is built on a foundation of sharing and mutual support on this journey. Number 9. The feeling of being taken advantage. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Freedom is not the pursuit of one's own will in every situation. Rather, freedom is the freedom from having the will of others imposed upon you." In relationships, this emphasizes the importance of preserving independence and autonomy. When you feel like you are being taken advantage of, that is when you are losing your personal freedom, being constrained by the wants and needs of others, and no longer able to make your own decisions. Feeling of being taken advantage of in a relationship is often a sign that cannot be ignored, indicating a deep imbalance, where one partner feels they are providing more than they are receiving in return. This includes not only physical or financial exploitation, but also emotional and mental exploitation. When one person constantly feels like he or she has to sacrifice and give up his or her own needs, desires, and even values to meet the needs and expectations of the other person, the relationship has lost its balance, equality, and mutual respect. Exploitation can easily become a recurring cycle if not identified and addressed. For example, a person may constantly ask for financial help and constant emotional support without ever trying to solve his or her problems or reciprocating the help. Or a person may always demand attention and time, reducing your ability to pursue other personal interests, work, or relationships. To escape feeling taken advantage of, it's important to reaffirm your boundaries and practice saying no in a healthy way. This requires the courage to stand up for one's own rights and needs as well as the ability to view and evaluate the relationship objectively, determining whether it truly brings value to others, your life, or not. In all situations, remember that every individual deserves to be treated with respect, and no one should feel taken advantage of in any relationship. Ending a toxic relationship where you feel unappreciated is not only an act of self-preservation, but also an important step toward building self-esteem and finding happiness. Number 10. Non-negotiables, value and reciprocity. In any relationship, there are principles that cannot be overlooked, which are value and balance in reciprocity. These are not just abstract principles, but a solid basis on which to build a worthwhile relationship. Values in a relationship not only involve sharing common life principles, but also include respecting and appreciating each person's personal values. This is about building an ethical foundation where consensus on basic principles such as honesty, sincerity, and respect are valued and upheld. A relationship where these values are not shared or respected can easily encounter unnecessary challenges and conflicts. Additionally, balance in reciprocity is key to maintaining a healthy relationship. This does not only imply the exchange of material gifts, but also includes emotional support, care, and understanding. A relationship in which one party always has to contribute without receiving adequate reciprocation will gradually become tiring and unbalanced, threatening its sustainability. However, building and maintaining a relationship based on value and balance is not easy. Requires commitment, understanding, and ongoing care from both parties. It is often said that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts, and this is also true for every relationship. To maintain harmony and happiness, each person in a relationship needs to ask and monitor whether they are living in accordance with the values and principles they uphold, as well as ensuring that the relationship, their resources are always preserved and developed in a balanced manner. Not being able to negotiate values and balance can also create independence and loneliness in the relationship. One partner may feel abandoned or unsupported during difficult times, while the other partner may feel imposed or overly dependent. This can create a feeling of imbalance and dissatisfaction, reducing the connection and trust between two people. In such a situation, leaving may be a wise decision. By ending the relationship, each person can find the harmony and personal growth they deserve, instead of remaining in a relationship that doesn't guarantee respect and support. Ending it can open the door to new opportunities and healthier relationships in the future. But the decision to leave is never easy. It requires courage and determination, as well as vulnerability and regret. However, if a relationship is not providing you with respect, support, and opportunities for growth, leaving can be an important step toward protecting and promoting happiness and growth. Number 11. Address abuse and failed communication. In every relationship, problem-solving and communication are the most important factors in maintaining harmony and trust. However, when a relationship becomes seriously abusive and communication fails, it can be a strong sign that you should end the relationship, even if it is a family member or a close friend. To address relationship abuse, it's important to open up dialogue and clearly identify unhealthy behaviors. You can start by openly discussing your feelings and desires with your partner. At the same time, suggest improvements and agree on specific actions to resolve the problem and prevent repetition of the abuse. However, if your partner does not accept or cannot change, you need to carefully consider continuing to maintain this relationship. Regarding failed communication, seeking support from a psychologist or marriage counselor can be an effective way to improve the situation. In this way, both of you can learn to better understand the other person's needs and desires and develop the communication skills necessary to promote understanding and harmony in the relationship. However, if after a long enough period of testing and trying to improve the situation, you do not see any positive changes, ending the relationship may be the right decision to save your life, your spirit and health. In all cases, protecting yourself and finding happiness and balance is most important. When we are faced with the decision to end a relationship, whether it is family, friends, or lovers, it is truly a big challenge. Sometimes this requires courage and determination, but also dignity and self-respect. Deciding to end a relationship is never easy, but sometimes it is a necessary first step so we can move forward in life. Most importantly, it helps us preserve and protect our spirit, as well as keep our next relationship stronger and healthier. Whether it's realizing that we are no longer compatible or finding ourselves controlled and frustrated, ending a relationship is an important and necessary step. Sometimes letting go is the only way we can find happiness and peace. Remember that each of us deserves a healthy, supportive, and meaningful relationship. Although moving on may be difficult, each step brings us closer to the true freedom and happiness we deserve. Together, let's move forward strongly into a new life where we can build more sincere and meaningful relationships and find joy and comfort in each new day.